but I was not even investing because I did not understand the concept.
Hello and greetings, Blooming Umorin. Thank you so much for coming through to my podcast. And on this podcast, we talk about personal finance, investing, and also career insights. So today, I have the pleasure of welcoming Blooming Umoren, my very good friend, investor, retail investor to be precise, business coach. And Blooming has a very terrific story. I've known her for some time since 2014 all the way from Nigeria to the United States in pursuit of, educational and other economic opportunities. And currently, she is based in Alberta, that is here in Canada. So, welcome, Blooming. Do you wanna maybe introduce yourself? Who is Blooming? I have the privilege of knowing you, but for the interest of the guests.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Isaac, for this amazing opportunity to be on this podcast. And a little bit about myself. I'm Bloomin' Moran. Most people call me Bloomin', my trusted money coach.
Yes,
And I'm just a simple lady from Nigeria, you know. I
yes.
had the opportunity to come to Canada, as you know, on a full ride scholarship. But prior to that, yeah, originally from Nigeria, and I had my first degree in the US, studied
Hmm.
economics and accounting
Yeah.
before I then came to Canada to before I then came to Canada on a full ride scholarship to do my MBA program. So yeah, but I'm really passionate about money, crypto, stock market investing,
Hmm.
because the moment that I discovered how amazing these vehicles are, I couldn't just stop myself. Anybody in my sphere of
Yes,
contact, I just tell them, "Are you investing? Do you want to invest?" So that's just a
yes.
little bit about myself. I love to talk about money, crypto,
Hmm.
and the stock market.
Thank you so much. And on that, what was that real spark for you, the turning points to say, I understand you studied, finance and even MBA at the prestigious Sauder Business School, the University of
Mhm.
British Columbia.
Right.
You must have gotten to that aha moment to say, well, I must get started. What was that aha moment for you?
Well, okay, so just a little bit of background. One of the reasons why I left Nigeria, so to say, was because I was seeking for greener pastures. I wanted
Yes.
to run away from poverty, so to say.
Mhm.
And to me, education was just a gateway to leave poverty behind, so to say. And in my pursuit of, just bettering myself, going to school, getting accounting and economics degrees, and also the MBA program that I completed. And after the whole education, my thought was that, oh yes, now I'm set up for life. I'm going to
Mhm.
start making all the money.
Yes, I'm gonna get the
But
best job.
I'm going to get the best job. I'm going to just be, I'm going to have so much money. But the reality never came. I started, I've always been a saver. I just save my money. I don't spend too much. But nothing really ever happened until I started studying about investing. And even I started studying about investing in 2018, but I still did not understand the practical aspect of it.
Mhm.
Then the pandemic happened, and I started looking at all of these stories. I'm like, oh my goodness, I need to start doing more research about this. And the moment that I understood the practical aspect of it, meaning that the
Yes.
application of investing and not just the theoretical aspect, it was
Yes.
just a game changer for me. Just the application. Because
Hmm.
again, I've read Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Millionaire Next Door, but I was not even investing because I did not understand the concepts, right?
Hmm.
Like the main application of it. But
Yes.
that was just the aha moment for me, really applying the concept that I've read.
Thank you so much. And this is not investment advice, but I'm a
Yes.
little bit more curious about the strategies that you use in terms of the stock market. And I know we'll talk a bit more about cryptocurrency, yeah, in a
Right.
bit, but what is that strategy that you use? Because I know in the US, there are, let's say the New York Stock Exchange, there are over, I think, 3,000 stocks. So
Right.
you look at the Nasdaq, there are maybe thousands of other stocks in that particular. So how do
Yes,
you pick your stocks and what strategy do you employ when you are actually investing? And by the way, this is the US stock exchange, and we
yes,
also have, many stock exchanges around the world. And, generally
yes,
the strategies from what I've seen can be applicable universally.
yes. So totally. So that's a very important question, and thanks for even asking that.
Yeah.
You know, before anyone starts investing, and again, this is
Hmm.
not financial advice. This is
Yes,
just
for
my
sure.
own personal strategy. It works for me. It might not work for everybody, but just
Yes.
understanding that investing is a global language if you just understand how to speak it. So,
Yes.
for example, what do? I don't invest in a lot of companies, but for the select few companies that I invest in, number one, I need to understand the business.
Hmm.
If I don't understand the business, I have no business being in the business if I don't understand it. So, number one, I
Yes.
need to understand what the company does. Number two, I need to understand the leadership.
Hmm.
Do I trust this person's leadership? Do I
Top
understand the,
management.
yes, it's really, really key because that really defines what is going to open up in the company.
Yes.
So again, I need to understand the business. I need to trust the leadership. I need to understand the total addressable market, meaning that this is a product that not just a few select people are going to need. So those are
Yes.
some of the key things that I first of all look for.
Hmm.
And before I then look at the financials, I read the numbers, the financial statement. Okay, is this company profitable?
Hmm.
Does this company have a lot of debt? So this
Yes.
is some of the things that I look at before I then say, okay, I'm going to buy this particular
Yes.
company. And usually, I'm such a long-term investor. I
Yes.
don't care about the short-term volatility. In
Yes.
fact, when the stock market drops, I'm so excited. I'm like, I
It's
can
like
get this
manna
at a
dropping from heaven, eh?
yes, finally I can get this at a discount. But yeah, it's so simple. I mean, investing is really simple, provided you take the time to learn and understand
Hmm.
it first before then, just investing. So yeah.
Very interesting. And
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more curious there because, um, so do you look at your brokerage often, or
Oh,
you just invest and, forget about it? Because sometimes I know people who are watching the, stock price every day. What do you do? Because I was at the Berkshire Hathaway shareholders meeting, and I think Warren Buffett mentioned that I think he checks his brokerage maybe 2 weeks every 2 weeks, right? What do you do in your case?
oh my God. So I take mine to the extreme in a good way.
Yes,
Number one, I don't check my brokerage account.
yes,
And the only time that I log in is either because I want to make a deposit or I
yes,
want to buy. And even when I log into my brokerage account, I've already hidden all the figures, meaning that
yes,
even when I log in to buy, I
yes,
don't even want to know the value of my portfolio. Why? I'm
yes,
such a long-term investor that I don't even want to know how much is in there. All I care about is, do I
yeah.
have the money? And once I have the money, I just buy. So I hardly check my portfolio because my minimum investing horizon is 10 years. So
Wow.
if I have a 10 years investing horizon at the barest minimum, why would I care about the price in 2024,
Short-term
25, or
volatilities.
26? It doesn't matter to me. So I don't check. I mean, it's just my own personal philosophy because there's
Mm.
no point. I don't need the money now.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just because if you keep checking the stock market or the crypto market, you have such an emotional roller
You're
coaster.
gonna have a
So
heart attack, right?
why would I do that? So
Yes.
I honestly, I don't check. I don't care. 10 years from now, then we can check.
Maybe.
Yes,
Yeah, and another key thing is, I know you do some coaching to some clients and stuff,
yes,
and that's something that you do, through, your business. So,
yes.
for those who may want to, contact Blooming, that's, another opportunity to learn more from her. I've learned so much from her. Now, you mentioned the issue of, I get the sense that you keep an emergency fund so that you don't have to worry about liquidating the stocks, in the short term. So tell us a little bit more about that because for me, it's such a fundamental point to say, I want to have money to cover for my living expenses for 1 year. at least, so how far do you go and what is the importance of emergency fund in your investing strategy?
Okay, so the way that I look at having an emergency fund, even before I have an emergency fund, what I usually tell people, and this is what I do personally, I budget. Every single money that comes into my hand, I don't spend the money unless I've budgeted, meaning that I enter it into a spreadsheet. This is how much I'm going to be putting in my investment, maybe in crypto or in stocks, or this is how much I'm going to be moving into my 3 to 6 month living expenses.
Yes.
So personally, that is where I start from, meaning that I tell my money what to do instead of wondering where my money went. Then once I've budgeted for the particular month or bi-weekly or as I desire, the first thing that I do is to have a starter emergency fund.
Yes.
Once I have that,
How
then I
much
have
is
another
that
account.
roughly?
Yes, so my starter emergency fund is just $1,000.
Yeah, okay.
Then into my 3 to 6 month living expense, so that is in another separate account because
Hmm.
again, I don't want to mix my starter emergency fund with my 3 to 6 month living
Hmm.
expenses because again, it gives me the illusion that I have a lot of money that I can just spend.
Yes.
But me just separating that, okay, this is just my starter emergency fund, which is just $1,000.
Hmm.
Then my 3 to 6 month living expense is in a separate account. Then I
Hmm.
have the regular account for just my everyday shopping and things like that. And the reason why I have this is because there's life is always going to throw you a curveball, and I
Yes.
don't ever want to be in a situation whereby I am forced to liquidate my investment account. And as I said before, my investing horizon minimum is 10 years.
Yeah.
And because I know that life is always going to happen,
Yeah.
then I have to have my starter emergency fund number one. Then for my 3 to 6 month living expenses is in a separate account so that no matter what happens, I
Hmm.
will be able to just withstand the financial turmoil or the,
Catastrophe.
yes,
Yes.
yes. So that's my own investment strategy that, okay, before I even start investing, my emergency fund, my 3 to 6 month living
Hmm.
expenses is solid, then I can invest.
And before we talk about crypto, do you wanna
Yes.
tell us a little bit more about like do you have any what's your views on, borrowing like credit card debts? Do you have any personal
Mm-hmm.
anecdote that you generally may want to share
Yeah.
with the audience?
Okay, so personally, I'm not against credit card,
Hmm.
but if somebody knows that, okay, I'm not good with managing money, then maybe it's something that you have to have a personal conversation with yourself. But this is my own take on this.
Hmm.
Even before I use my credit card, I would have first of all budgeted. This is how much I'm going to be spending on this. And I literally move the money from my checking account onto my credit card. Meaning
Yes,
that eventually when the amount gets out from my credit card, I am not even owing anything.
there's money
So
there.
I don't, yeah, so I don't subscribe to the fact that, oh, once you swipe it, then at the end of the month then you pay it off. I personally don't do that because it doesn't give me a lot of leverage. It doesn't give me a lot of control. But once I've budgeted and I've already allocated that this is how much I'm going to be spending on this particular item or this category this month, that's it. So again, I'm not against using credit card, but
Hmm.
I use it wisely, meaning that before I even swipe it, that means that I already have the money in my checkings account. If I don't, then I don't swipe. And majority of times, and me just saying this, before I was never like this. I was always the person that,
Swiping.
oh, I would just swipe and I will pay it off at the end of the month. I'm like, yeah, I'm a good accountant. I'm a good economics. And I'm like, yes, I
Yeah.
have everything done. But the moment I started budgeting, I'm like, oh
Yes.
my goodness, I am literally spending this much on this particular item. It was just a game changer for me. And
Yes.
again, I use credit card, but I use it judiciously. I use it sparingly even.
Yes.
Because one of the things that I also do is that even when I budget and
Hmm.
I know that this is the amount I'm going to be spending this particular month or within the next 2 weeks, I
Hmm.
withdraw it as cash.
Hmm.
Again, this might not work for everybody, but these are things I do to make sure that I'm not overspending in a particular category. So that's my own take on it. On
Very
credit
interesting.
card,
Hmm.
credit card is good if you know how to use it well. But again, I budget first. I put the money on my credit card before I even
Hmm.
spend. not spend and pay off. No, I don't do that. ETF is just a collection, it's just a basket of goods. So, for example, it's either you buy the underlying asset, which is Bitcoin or Ethereum,
Yeah.
but if you don't want to go through the hassle of protecting your crypto or managing it, you can just buy a Bitcoin ETF.
I know we have a webinar on, renting versus buying
Yeah,
mortgages or homes.
yeah.
So, houses like in British Columbia here, you have like a decent three-bedroomed house going for
Mhm.
maybe 600,000 or 1 million. Then what's your view on that? Because very few people can have 1 million or so in liquid cash to buy a house. What's your view on debt or leveraging in that regard? Do you even
Yeah.
consider that at all?
So the decision on whether to rent or buy is a
Mhm.
personal decision. And why
Sure.
do I say that?
Hmm.
Most times we hear the story of if you're renting, you're just throwing money away. If you're renting, you're paying your landlord's money or your landlord's mortgage.
Yes.
And to me, I don't see home ownership like that because I run the numbers. The
Yes.
moment you run the numbers and you understand that, oh, most times it's better to rent than to
Yes.
buy. Why? Because because most times when people want to compare rent to buy, they
Yes.
just say, okay, my rent is just $2,000
Yeah.
and the mortgage is 1,800 or the mortgage is 2,000. Is the same
Yes.
thing. No, you're not comparing apples to apple. So for me personally, because
Hmm.
when you factor in the amortization table, the interest that you pay, the property
Hmm.
taxes, and the property taxes are going to keep going up, and not to even talk of the interest rate that has gone up through the roof.
If you're on
There's so
variable
many.
interest, yeah.
Yes, like the cost of maintenance of the home. But
Yes.
if I'm just renting, I don't worry about all of those. And and one of the things that even makes the difference is if you are renting,
Hmm.
the amount of money that would have naturally gone into home or ownership,
Yes.
just invest it. Because
Yes.
if you're just renting without
Hmm.
without again investing, then you're just
Hmm.
throwing your money away. But if you put it on the stock market or, for example, in crypto, which this is not investment
For
advice,
sure.
over a long period of time, you're naturally going to do better. So again, home ownership, this is a very, very
Yes.
controversial topic.
Hmm.
But again, my own take is that even if you want to own a home, have 20% down. That's why we have
Yes.
the FHSA, we have the high yield savings account for us to even put our money to build that equity if you want to use that in the stock market and just use that to buy a home. But for
Hmm.
me personally, at least 20% down. Then, if you still want to go into home ownership, understand that you're literally paying a lot just to have this property. And for me, home ownership is more of a lifestyle than just a financial
Yes.
decision. Because if I run the numbers, it doesn't make sense. But if for family, you just want a big home and you can
Yes.
afford it, why not? So that's my take
Sure.
on that.
So now we are moving to the last segment of this conversation now. So I know you do a lot of content around, cryptocurrency. So
Yes.
can you tell us a little bit more about cryptocurrency and, how you go about it in a nutshell? And this is not
Okay.
investment advice, just to be clear.
Yes. Yes. So again, not investment advice. So this is what I always just
Yeah.
tell people, no matter the amount of education or the level of education that you have, if you are not wealth educated, you are still poor.
Hmm.
Because we've seen doctors, we've seen nurses, engineers, accountants, economics that they are they are educated, but when it comes to money, they are nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
Really, because they've not understood the 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 value of wealth education.
Hmm.
So the reason why I'm saying that is because the stock market and the crypto market, these are one of the best wealth generating machines. And the
Hmm.
reason why I'm saying this is because I like to study multimillionaires. For
Hmm.
example, if we look at BlackRock or if we look at Larry Fink is the CEO of BlackRock.
Hmm.
When I see a great money manager is coming into crypto,
Hmm.
I just pay attention and I do what they do. Why? Because they are coming into this space to make boatload of money.
Hmm.
So, like, if I see that this is happening,
Hmm.
then there is no point in me saying that, oh, I don't, this thing is scam or this thing doesn't work, or because you don't
Hmm.
understand it. So, again, what is crypto? Crypto is just digital wealth. For
Hmm.
example, some people might just want to buy property, let's say in Canada or in the US or in Ghana or in Nigeria, Ivory Coast, whatever nation.
Hmm.
But if I have a physical property, if I want to move to another country, then I have to sell. I have to look for a buyer. But for
Hmm.
crypto, this is mobile money, meaning that I just hold it in my wallet and I
Yeah.
can move anywhere in this world. Crypto to me is just freedom.
Yes.
Freedom, meaning that I can build my wealth irrespective of the location. It doesn't respect geographies or boundaries or language. And there's something that I always tell people that crypto is a global language, and it's
Hmm.
important to understand how to speak it fluently.
Hmm.
So, for example, we have the stock market, which is one vehicle. Crypto is another vehicle. I
Hmm.
mean, we have 2.4 million cryptocurrencies. So there
Hmm.
is no way you can just say, oh, I'm going to master all of the 2.4 and
Yes.
keep counting. But we have the big daddies and the big mummies like Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Hmm.
Those are no-brainers. Why? Bitcoin and Ethereum, they already been integrated into the traditional finance. And what do I mean by that? We saw the
Hmm.
Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETFs. These are not
And
going
what is an
anywhere.
ETF, by the way?
So ETF is just a collection, it's just a basket of goods. So, for
Mhm.
example, it's either you buy the underlying asset, which is Bitcoin or Ethereum,
Yeah.
but if you don't want to go through the hassle of protecting your crypto or managing it, you can just buy a Bitcoin ETF. But personally, I don't buy the Bitcoin ETF
Yeah.
because I understand the value of buying my crypto and personally protecting it. And that is even why we are in crypto, because if you buy the Bitcoin ETF or Ethereum ETF, it's good if you're a beginner.
Yeah.
But long term, I prefer to hold the underlying asset. And it's not even rocket science, right?
Yeah.
This is something that I teach people every single day. Oh, this is
Yeah.
how to invest in crypto. This is how to invest in the stock market. It's not rocket science. And I tell people that if you can operate a smartphone, you're smart enough to invest yourself. You just need to learn. That's all. It's not something that nobody can
It's
just
not rocket
understand, or
science.
yeah, it's not. So I mean, you just need somebody to guide you and coach you and just show you, hey, this is how it's done, and you're
Yes.
good to go. So again, crypto should be in everyone's portfolio. This is not financial advice. This is
Mm.
what I'm doing. I
Yeah.
have stocks. I also have crypto because again, no matter where I go, I can always move my money. I can always carry my
Hmm.
crypto anywhere I want because there's so many times you just go to your local bank and you want to make a transaction of maybe $10,000 and $20,000, and the hassle, just a series of questions. Oh, what is your
Yeah.
mother's maiden name? Oh, where do you work? Where do
Hmm.
you live? Where did you get the money from? Is this, oh, so
Yeah.
many questions, but I can move $1 million on crypto and nobody cares. Nobody knows. I
Yes.
don't have to go through all of this, hurdles just to send $1 million
Hmm.
over the blockchain. So I'm telling you, this is just a game changer. For whoever is not in crypto, I'm telling you, take the time to learn.
I'm
Learn.
curious though. Sorry to interject.
Yes, it's fine.
What percentage, like, do you have 50-50 in equities, like that is stocks, in bonds, or
Mhm.
maybe if you do bonds at all, I know you don't. And then, the crypto, do you, or you just, go without
Okay.
any specific formula?
Okay. So for me, if I were to compare my stock portfolio to my crypto
Yeah.
portfolio, my crypto portfolio is at least one third of the value of
Mm,
my stock
that's a lot of
investment.
risk.
Yeah. So for me personally, and again, this will
Yes.
not work for everybody. I'm such a risk lover. Oh my goodness. Like because once I understand it and
Yes.
I study the multimillionaires, I look at what they're doing, it's a
Yes.
no-brainer. But for example, now when Bitcoin went all the way to 69,000 in the previous cycle
Mhm.
and it dropped up to 15, 16,000 American dollars, I was so happy. I was like, oh my goodness, this is good. This is
Let me buy more.
amazing. But not a lot of people can stomach that volatility, and
Yes.
it's okay. That's why we have the Bitcoin ETF. That's why, and hopefully we're going to have the Ethereum ETF very soon, just trading. But apart from that, like I can stomach a lot of volatility because why? I am a long-term investor. I don't
Hmm.
care about 5 years or minimum 10 years. So,
Yes.
and if we look at it historically, Bitcoin has been one of literally the best performing asset in the past 10 years.
No
So
doubt.
why, yeah, why would I not want to put my money here? And for people that are saying, oh, Bitcoin is already 61,000, it's 60,000, it's a lot of money. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. If you have $10, you can own some Bitcoin. If you have $1,000, you can
Hmm.
own some Bitcoin. So again, Bitcoin or crypto is freedom. You don't need a lot of money to participate in the crypto market. And I always tell people, even when you buy, please don't leave your crypto on any crypto exchange because
Hmm.
it's too dangerous. Read about FTX.
Hmm.
This was
That
just
was a
so
crypto
recent.
exchange.
Yes, that was, yeah. So again, never leave your crypto on any crypto exchange. Always move it to your own personal crypto wallet because it literally defeats the process or even the purpose of you owning crypto. Never leave it on any crypto exchange. Move it to your personal wallet.
Interesting. Now,
Yep.
it would be remiss for me to not ask you. So, what has been your personal experience, living in Canada? Because you had this, you wanted the Canadian dream. So, what can
Yes.
you say? Are you really enjoying being in Canada? What are the things that, you would say? Because someone might be saying, well, I'm in Nigeria, I'm in India,
Hmm.
or I'm in the States, but I
Yes.
wanna, come to Albert. I know it's very cold over there.
But, like my Canadian experience has been amazing.
Yeah.
The reason being that when I look at all the blessings
Yes.
that Canada offers, it's easy for us to say, oh, Canada is not doing this, Canada is not doing that, it's
Yes.
not doing this. But I'm always very optimistic. I
Yes.
love the country. I love the opportunities that Canada has already given me.
Yes.
And it's also been a journey. Coming to Canada, well, my first degree was in the US, and there are so
Mhm.
many things that I learned from the US that by the time I got to Canada, it was an easier experience for me.
Yes.
Okay. But notwithstanding, Canada has been amazing in terms of the people, the culture. Yes, it's really cold, but we have winter
Mhm.
jacket, we have winter boots and things like that.
Yeah.
But in a nutshell, if somebody had told me when I was in my early 20s or
Yes.
even secondary school that, oh,
Yes.
you're going to be in Canada, I would have said no. I would have said, oh, that's impossible. I
Yes.
just want to go to the US. But it all started with just a dream. I want to make my life better. I want to make my family's life
Hmm.
better. And education was the best way for me to do that.
Hmm.
And the US and even Canada, this has been amazing countries, but Canada is definitely my home and I love Canada, even though I have a soft spot for the US, but
Yes.
Canada has been amazing. I won't even, should I say I won't trade this for anywhere? Maybe for now I should say so. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
been an amazing experience just coming here, even with my family. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
it's been good.
Thank you so much, Blooming, the money coach. Now I want to give you an opportunity to say goodbye with a parting shot to the
Yeah.
audience.
Well, Isaac, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. But I also want to tell anyone watching this, irrespective of where you are, where you're watching from, no matter your profession, no matter the level of education you have, you've
Yes.
got to invest.
Yes.
But even before you invest, you got to learn because there is no way you can learn how to drive without you actually, there is no way you can start driving without you learning how to drive. That's a common
Yes.
sense thing to do. So
Hmm.
I'm telling you, no matter your level of education, if you're not investing, you're wasting time. And I'm going to just please and plead with you, take some time to learn about investing in the stock market, investing in crypto, because that's the way you're going to build wealth long term. So that's my parting word.
Thank you so much for the privilege of your time, and I look forward to hopefully bringing you back on the podcast. So
Yes.
Thank you. And to my audience, thank you so much for tuning in. And I hope you will tune in to the next one. Have a wonderful day. And may the markets be with you. Thank you.
Yes. Bye bye.